Hello and welcome to my tropical style garden here in the UK. It has been one of the driest years I can remember since I've been doing this type of garden, and it's been a really good year for me to be transforming my garden. It's allowed me to get on. But yesterday we had the storm come in and it rained and rained and rained, and that has meant that my pond has been filling up and is now at least half full. I wasn't meant to be getting on with the pond today, but now I've got a dilemma on the best way about going around this and dealing with the water. So let's have a look around the garden and see where we go from here. Well, one thing I will say is all this rainfall has definitely helped green the garden up, especially the turf that I laid last week. That's looking really green and healthy. It's took really well. So let's just see what happens through the winter. Next week, we are due down to nearly freezing, so we may get some light frosts, and potentially there is snow forecast. So I've got to have a little look round, and that's what I'm going to do now. It's just going to be a little bit of a tour. I don't know what I'm going to talk about, where it's going to go, but this is also part for me so I can remember what I've got to get in, what I haven't. I think I'm just about there. I think there's only 2 or 3 more plants that need lifting. One of them is going to be the brugmansia that I've mentioned a few times recently, that's here. That has definitely got to come in, so we'll get that dug up soon. I also have this very sad looking yucca astrata. I had to move it from somewhere else and it didn't really like it. I'm going to pot that up into a really gritty compost and see if I can try and recover it. Okay, let's start from the beginning and we'll work our way around. I'm going to start with this plant, and this is my Canna Tornado, which is not looking great now. It's getting nearer the end of the season, but it's probably one of my favourite cannas I grow. Beautiful green on green variegation. Some years or some parts of the season, the variegation is better than others. Like at the minute, the new variegation is coming out really quite nice. And it also has some very vibrant red flowers. There is another canna very similar to this with a green on green variegation, which is called Canna Wolf Song. I think that this one, Tornado, is slightly better because the flowers, it probably isn't showing it on my camera, but the red is much more vibrant in my opinion than the other Canna Wolf Song. But both very good cannas to grow. Highly recommend it. This one is just in a pot, so this is going to stay here for a little while. If the frost just catch it and blacken it, then I'll cut all the foliage off and I'll just bring the pot inside and keep it frost free, and then next year split it and repot it. While I'm here, I'm just going to move around to the side, and this is a very scruffy looking but large Fatsia polycarpa, and this is like the green fingers, but this is like a seed grown one, the Edward Needham form. It's about 8 foot tall and is my tattiest looking Needham form by far out of the 3 I've got. Maybe just to pests or soil conditions. A few things have got it this year with the dryness, and definitely the new growth got hit by the pests, which has made it all go horrible and mangled. Hopefully next year will be much nicer, but it is flowering again, so it's quite sheltered here. I did get seeds off it last year and seeds off it a couple of years before that. The frosts can kill these flowers off if they do not get to periform before the frosts get it. So hopefully I can get some more seeds. They're very slow from seed. I'll show you some later on that I've been growing for a couple of years, and some new seedlings coming through. Above that is my Schefflera rhododendrofolia, and you might be able to see, but that has berries on it already. I find them quite difficult, Scheffleras from seed. They seem to take all right, but they just are either so slow or they just die off easily for me. Right, let's move round. I'm going to try and talk about different plants if I can to what I normally talk about, so it doesn't become the same old story. This side, the cycad, that will go in because it's in a pot. The cordyline is cordyline pink passion. That will go in once, especially if it's going to be snow. Because it's in a pot, that will just be brought in as well. The Canna Australia, that one will be brought in because it's in a pot. Then round here, I have another cordyline pink passion, again in a pot. And then this is oh dear me, can't talk properly. Plectranthus nico, and I'm not sure. I've got lots of cuttings of it, so I don't really need to. The frost will kill it. I might just dig it out of the pot and take it in. It's just another thing to put into the greenhouse that I haven't really got room for. It is a shame because I can imagine at that sort of size, a couple of nice places, or even hanging over the pond next year, draping over, look really nice. I've got a decision to make about that very soon. Okay, bananas for now, I'm going to do nothing with whatsoever. If it gets really cold, I'll make the decision whether I'm going to wrap them. I've said in my previous video, I'm not dead sure if they're going to be there next year. I do also have some Musa around this side. Most years, I just don't protect them at all, and they're fine. My winter lows are usually, unless it's an extreme winter, about -5 Celsius. So for me, they're fine. We'll see. The cold, it all depends. Hardiness, if it's a prolonged cold, it's going to do a lot more damage than one night of -5. If you've got a week of it, it's going to, plants are going to suffer. Then you've got to really evaluate what you're protecting, what you're not protecting. I am someone that tries not to overprotect stuff if I can. I haven't got a rule. Been doing it for years, and I just make it up as I go along and decide at the time. As for my poor old tree fern, that has just really struggled since I moved it. Hopefully next year's new growth will be fine. I'm going to do nothing with this whatsoever, apart from, for now anyway, I should say, there will just be a bit of fleece in the top just to hopefully protect that new growth, the same as the tall one next to it. And then I'll wrap it up more if the temperatures get colder. Everything here, I'm just double checking that. Hardy, evergreen, hardy, yeah, pretty much. The Xanthodecia, if we get the frost, will be cut back down, but I've had them years and they always seem to come back. Let's move round. One thing I am a little bit concerned with, and I might have to put a little bit of protection over, this Brassioopsis dumicola is a hardy Brassioopsis generally, but it has been newly planted quite late in the season, and I'm more concerned about the snow falling on it and bending it down or snapping the stem. So I'm either going to stake it and then probably just put a tub over the top in case it snows, just to try and stop it till it strengthens up. I'm going to have to do a little something because I don't want to come out here and think, oh, it snapped and I could have, took a little bit of precaution. I just think if I put a couple of wooden stakes into the soil and then a rubble tub over the top, that will just give it enough protection to stop it from the snow. I'm not really worried about the frost. It's got to toughen itself up and bear with it. All that cloudy water. Still plenty more to go in, but definitely starting to feel more like a pond. Going around. everything after all that rain really is looking green and lush, and it's such a shame that it's so close to the end of the season that it's gonna kill some of it off, but that's tropical gardening in a cold climate. To be fair, most of what I'm looking at will stay the same. Strobilanthes, just gonna leave it. Dug one up. I keep thinking, should I take some more cuttings before the frosts get it? We'll see. Here I do have to dig this up. This is the fuchsia arborescens, I think it is pronounced. Hasn't flowered this year. I'm not sure if it's too shady here, too dry, or something like that, but I do need to dig that up either today or tomorrow because that is tender. I think everything else, I'm trying to look as I'm talking to you lot, I think everything else is pretty hardy. Doesn't mean that it won't get damaged by snow. Apart from that spider plant down there in the pot. That's definitely not. Okay, let's walk down the stepping stones. No water in this bit yet. It's not quite got that high. Slowly filling up at the back, even though I've not finished the top rocks and the back wetland filter. Okay, there's my choruses, still waiting to go in. They're probably going to go in spring now. Tradescantia, Blushing Bride, Hardy, all good. The Tetrapanaxes are all flowering, but the frosts will get them. There's this one, and then the bigger one at the back. Right, I'm just going to put the camera down a minute so I can get round something. Sorry about that. I got my trousers snagged on one of the branches behind me, and I was a bit concerned about twisting and dropping my phone into the water. This little monkey was the culprit. Right, let's work our way round. Up the steps. Not getting wet feet. Going through. And here is my Roldana petasites and my Boraciopsis fatsoides, plus another Strobilanthes. Well, in this case, I think I'm going to dig up the Roldana petasites as well, which is this plant. I think it will be hardy for me here, especially in this sheltered place. It would die back to the ground, but for next year I don't want these two together. I've mentioned it before. One is cancelling the other out. This has got beautiful foliage for a Boraciopsis, and I think it needs to be the star of the show as I walk through here. And the Roldana is just it's just nearly blocking the whole path. So rather than cut it to the ground and deal with it again, I think I'm just going to cut it down, but dig it up and put it in a pot and put it in the greenhouse and see where I can plant it different next year. Find a shady little space for it. One plant that has definitely been disappointing, but I'm leaving in the ground again. This will be its second year in the ground, and that's my Boraciopsis mitis. From where I cut it last year, I've probably mentioned this. Let me just move this Spanish moss. Okay, that is all my growth in 1 year, whereas the year before it grew much quicker than that. So I'm hoping I don't get too much damage on it if the winter ain't too bad. If it gets too cold, I'm just gonna cut off any of the branches and I'll just wrap up the stem with fleece only for the period of the time in the real cold, and then I'll take it off again. They're quite expensive plants, so sometimes they're worth the extra effort. Okay, round here, this is the bit I'm still gutted that I haven't managed to get on with the weather and it getting dark so early. I'm going to try and get some more logs like this. I want them to come round I'm going to try and use some branches. Obviously there's more logs to go around here. I want to put some branches to create like vines and stuff. I've got to put moss and that in bits above the water. Lots and lots of details. Whether they probably happen in spring now, I'm not so sure, but I do want to try and get this rock work finished around here, so I can get it, see how this waterfall works and get an idea of what I have to adjust or not. There's part of me that would like to see it with the water higher, at least to water level across there, because then I can sort of see which rocks above it I need to adjust, what I can make look a little nicer, because there's a couple of bits I don't really like, and I might have to tweak with. I don't even know what I was trying to say there. Never mind. I've just temporarily climbed into the wetland filter, so I can give you a view of what I think will end up my favourite view of the garden when it's all planted and the water's higher. Love the way everything sort of hangs over and creates a canopy over the stream and the tunnel and the stepping stones. Really, really, really love this part of the garden. All greens. I don't tend to use too much colour down this end at all, because I find it much more relaxing. And then obviously I've got all the cover above from the large tetrapanax and the trachycarpus. Right, let's climb back out of the pond. Try not to fall in. Well, nearly. Here I have a large Camerops humilis that it's pretty much dappled shade. It's not a very bright spot at all, but always looks green and healthy. Does really well. Just as good as my ones in full sun, to be fair. You do tend to get these longer leaves on them when in a shadier condition, but it's surprising how tolerant they can be. I've also, and this is very temporary for yesterday, I've got to find somewhere to go, I quickly chucked my agave avartifolia under here to keep it dry. It's too shady under here, so I do need to move it. I haven't got room in the greenhouse, so I've got to come with a little plan where I'm going to store it. Don't really know yet. Okay, so that was just a quick short video update. I thought I'd show everyone how the pond is filling up. I'm quite excited by it. I kept looking out the window, sort of seeing how much, because it's the first time that it started to come under the stream. It's probably got nearly 3/4 of a foot sort of still to come up at least yet, so it's going to be just under the bridge. Everything is looking green and lush, maybe apart from that trachycarpus that I moved. That might be a bit lime green, but everything else really good. Oh, I thought I'd just mention one other thing before I end it. Is I've been asked a few times about my Cycas revoluta. Does it stay out all year round? And the answer is yes. At the minute, it's got loads of laurel leaves that's fell in. I haven't put them in there to protect it. It is very well protected above by lots and lots of shrubs and palms and plants, which gives it quite good cover. It's a very dry spot because of all the laurels and that taking lots of the moisture out the ground. Now, I won't do anything with that pretty much now unless it starts to get to sort of -4s, -5s or prolonged cold, and then I'll assess it, see how bad it is. But if it does snow, I probably will just put a builder's bag or something over it to stop it filling all up for snow. I think we'll just see, and if I have to do that, I will do a little video just showing how I might have done extra protection to get over the snow. I am going to think about maybe just temporary, if it does snow next week, chucking something over these new spears, the Jabea chilensis, maybe a builder's rubble bag or something like that. I know it's a very hardy palm, but it was dug up, it was transplanted. it may be slightly weaker, and I don't want snow and damp to sit into that main spear area to start with. As time goes by, next year, the year after, I'll become a lot sort of tougher with it and leave it to its own devices. But I absolutely love it. It's handled move really well that I dug up earlier in the year, and I want to make the most of protecting it. Right, so this wasn't really a progression of the garden. It was just a little bit of an update, a little bit of a couple of the ideas on what I might be doing over winter. And hopefully I'll be able to get on and do some more with the garden, maybe pump the water out. We'll see how the next week or so goes. But for now, I'm probably just going to get these few plants dug up. Then I know that everything in the greenhouse that needs to be in the greenhouse is pretty much done. My greenhouse is very full, by the way. So a couple of people have asked me about a little greenhouse tour. I'm not sure I can get in there. If I can, I'll just do a really rough video of everything that's in there, or film what I can. If you want that, leave it in the comments and I'll see what I can do. If you want to give it a like, give it a like. If you haven't subscribed, next year I'm hoping to really sort of try and find more time for this channel. I want some more tours to go in and visit some more beautiful tropical gardens, plus get this finished and to the highest possible level for myself that I can. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.